So this is a starter from my 2012 9.9 four-stroke Yamaha high thrust engine, and it doesn't work. I put the battery positive lead right on the screw there, clamped it to the ground, and with the ground lead of course, and it just does nothing. So we're going to take it apart and see if we can figure out what's wrong with it. I think that's an 8mm socket. Yeah, 8 mil. And I've got my impact driver here. Pull these screws out. Definitely got some corrosion happening on the inside of that starter. It's likely what is causing our non-start problem. Same with that screw. You can see we must have had some moisture ingress into the base of this. I've got a little plastic hammer. It's a dead blow hammer, so it doesn't bounce. It's got the lead shot in it. I think I'm going to mark this housing so I know exactly how it goes back on. So on the label I'm going to make a little black felt pen mark, and on the housing itself I'll make a little felt pen mark. So they're match marks so I can line them up. Again, I've never had a starter apart before. It's starting to move. Well, I can see all kinds of rust and stuff coming out of the mounting holes. Yeah, look at the stuff coming out of there. There we go. I suspect the brushes are seized up in there. They're probably not contacting the, I don't even know what you call this thing, commutator or whatever. That thing needs to be cleaned up. So we're going to clean this all up and see if we can figure it out. Yeah, those brushes are on a spring, so they're supposed to move in and out as they wear. And they are not moving at all. So we're going to have to take that apart and clean it up. Hopefully we can free everything up, and that's probably what the problem is with this starter. I don't know, you can see, I don't know if you can see that sand that I just knocked out right there, or rust or corrosion or whatever. Right, yeah, sure. There's quite a bit of there. And I don't know, is this going to come out? Or does it go the other way? Maybe it goes the other way. Oh yeah. Ooh, good magnet in there. So there's a tiny little O-ring sealing that surface. Imagine there was one on the other side as well. Yeah, there's a small little O-ring right in there as well, to be sure we don't lose that or damage it. So we're going to clean this all up and hopefully get it all fixed up. Everything seems to work on it. So we'll get it cleaned up and and we'll come back to you after that's all done. So after spending a little bit of time, I cleaned the whole inside of this out. I sprayed it with brake cleaner, and I found that the brushes, where are they? Yeah, that's better. So the brushes were not moving, so I sprayed them with a little bit of WD-40 and worked at it a little bit. So now they're free. So we're just going to continue on our cleanup in there, and we'll be able to put it back together. I'm pretty sure it'll work now. So I'm using some 1000 grit sandpaper and just polishing up this area that the brushes ride on to clean it up. Looks much better. One thing I found inside the magnetic case when I pulled it apart, I guess there's a couple of thrust washers that had come off. These two little super thin little washers here, stuck together like that. They go over the end of this thing before it goes into your engine casing or the motor casing. Okay, we got it all cleaned up. So nice and shiny now. I sprayed that with brake clean as well. Is much cleaner looking now on the inside. And the springs work well. The brushes go in and out like they should. So now we'll try. Now we will put it back together. We're not going to try. We're going to do it. So there's my mark for the bottom. So the slots in the magnets have to line up with the holes that are in the housing for the bolt. So we'll just make sure we get that lined up in there. Of course, now my mark that I put on here is washed off. Oh, it's right there. I can barely see it, but okay. Because that's important to get the power terminal in the right spot. Ah, look at that. First try. Except it doesn't want to go down. Why not? That's all there is to it. I feel like there's some kind of a notch on the bottom end to make sure that alignment is there. In the housing there's an alignment notch there and there. So there must be something. Oh yeah, there is. Probably an alignment notch right in the side of this housing. I don't know if you can see it right there. Little alignment notch. It's got to go with that housing notch. There. The screw is not going in. Oh, there it goes. Okay, we're good. Off with a brush. I took the wire wheel to these, cleaned off most of the rust. I don't know if that'll make any difference or not. Make my life a little bit easier, I suspect. And the washers are still on there. Find that mark. Goes there. And compress the brushes so we can slide it on. Seems easier said than done, I think. Try this again. Okay, notches are in the bottom. And the top. And I see. When you press up on the Bendix gear end, it pops the cover, so there must be a little bit of movement in the bottom there. Now, the trick is to get those things lined up. That one went in easy. This one is not going so easy. There, got it. I wasn't without some issues, but we got it. So the magnet kept pulling the screw one side or the other of the threaded hole in the bottom. Had a hard time lining it up, but we got it. So I can still see my mark that I made there, match mark there, so everything's going to be in the good right place. So when it goes back in the engine, my ground goes there, my positive goes down here. We'll do a test here on the bench and see if it's working. So this isn't maybe how they would do it in a starter rebuild shop, but it's what I've got. So I've got some jumper cables. I put the positive on the positive terminal, clamp the ground onto the housing. Now I'll connect it to the battery. I'll do the ground first. Maybe I should do the positive first. I don't know. I'm going to do the positive first. And then we're going to touch the ground and see if it starts. Look at that. So, seems like we got a winner here. And hopefully the starter relay kicks it over, because that was another issue I thought maybe I was having, was the relay wasn't working properly. But when I pulled the starter out and did the same kind of test, the Bendix gear, well actually the motor, started a few times when I connected the battery to it, but then it quit. So that's what I thought, well, rather than buying a new starter, which is in Canada that's getting close to $1,000, I thought I would take it apart and see if I can't fix it up first. And as it turns out, the brushes were not able to slide in and out of the slots, so I sprayed them with brake clean, cleaned it up that way, sprayed a little WD-40 on them, got them freed up, then sprayed it with brake clean again to wash it all out, reassembled it, and as you can see, it seems to be working. So we'll get it into the boat and we'll give it a shot there too. Okay, the starter's back in place. I didn't show in the video as to how to go about removing the starter. So here's your starter. So these are your ground wires here. So you take this bolt out. That's a 12 millimeter wrench. You need to take that out. So you take those off, and then you pull out these two bolts. Then your power cable goes to your relay, goes around and circles around and comes up this side. So what I did before I pulled the starter out is I tied a string to it, and then when I pulled the starter out and then I untied it, when I came to put it back in again, I was just able to tie the string back onto the positive and pull it as I drop the starter in place, and it ends up in the right place. So now I just need to reconnect this and put the little rubber boot on. Oh, and I gotta get the mounting bolt out of there. It's a 10mm socket in here. Like most things on. Oh no, I dropped it. Yeah, we'll be pausing for a minute while I fish that out. So it took me a while, but I finally got that bolt back. Got it in. That's the connection right there. Now I just need to slip the rubber boot over the bolt. So because that's the hot one, we just want to protect that. So everything's connected. So we'll go up and turn the batteries on the boat and see if it works. And that's for the win. That saved me $800,000 for a new starter, plus the labor if I took it to a shop, $160, $170 an hour. So this is something you can tackle yourself, save yourself some money.